exciting to have Mandi Hutchinson, one of our favorite media people, with us tonight to answer all sorts of exciting media questions. And Scott Gata, president of Renegade Game Studios as well. Joining me, Sarah Erickson, director of sales and marketing. So Mandy, How are you? What, are you surprised I didn't mess it up?
I'm amazed that you didn't mess it up. That was like the best intro that you've done yet.
That was flawless.
Yeah.
I said all of the things.
Wow. You're not even drunk or anything. That's great.
Wow.
Not kind of yet. This is always a good start to it. Oh man. And just for our chat room, so you guys know, Steph is not joining us this evening, so I will be trying to monitor chat and talk at the same time, which is way too hard. So expect future mess ups. It went well so far, but that's the end. All right, awesome. So yeah, hi Mandy, how are you?
Good. How are all of you?
Good, good.
I see the chat is starting at like lots of Mandys and exclamation marks. Oh my goodness, these are my people. I use so many exclamation marks in my statements. So these must be Canadians. I'm convinced.
All right, if you're Canadian and you're in the chat room, you have to let us know. It's important. Yes. Oh no. So how is Canada? I hear it's hot up there this time of year.
Shockingly, yes, it is. I guess so. It's about 36 degrees Celsius. So I'm guessing that's close to about 85, 90 Fahrenheit. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's hot, super, super hot, but good.
Yeah, that's pretty warm.
We don't know how that works. So that sounds really cold.
It's almost freezing. What are you complaining about?
You should move. You should move here because 32 here isn't hot.
That's how that works.
I was like, wait a second here. We're doing math right now.
Oh dear. So Mandy, for those of you in the chat room who don't know, Mandy is on several different channels. So you started out on, I could be wrong, Dice Hate Me? Is that your first one, or did you start before that?
No, so it was To Die For Games. So that's the one I launched.
To Die For Games. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. I messed up. Now we can move on.
So honestly, there's so many. So I totally get it. Yeah, so that's where I started. And it actually went through a few changes. I had one person I was doing with, and it was, no one ever go look at these videos. They're terrible. Because I had to learn how to use editing programs. I didn't have any like backdrops. I didn't have anything. So I was starting from nothing. And then it progressed where I had Stefan and Tracy. So some people may know them from Board Game Breakfast. We had our little lunchtime segment. And yeah, and then from there on to other things. And I actually have a team now that works with us on To Die For Games that does blogging as well. So I have some other video contributors and some bloggers, and they're doing really well.
Wow.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on.
Yeah, then there's a full-time job in the Dice Tower. So, throw that all in there.
Wait, are they both full-time jobs? Or they just feel like full-time jobs?
So, honest to goodness, it's literally like I have my full-time job, I come home, and then I'm doing that stuff. So it's like I have two full-time jobs. So I don't really have vacation or days off. This is what I do all the time.
Wow. Yeah.
What do you do for your full-time job?
So I am a teacher, or in the government, a facilitator is the appropriate term. So I work for the federal government, and so I facilitate training. It can be in harassment, mental health, things like that for civilian and military employees.
So we could use some of that here at Renegade. Just today, I was commenting that we need an HR department. I felt harassed.
Oh, no. Oh, that's not good. Was Sarah involved, or was she the bystander and did nothing?
She was the bystander.
I wasn't there at all. I wasn't on this.
Oh, you were there. Yes, you were such a bystander. You were barely noticeable.
That sounds right.
So no, it was another person in our company, and right. I won't name names because that would right. But maybe offline we could get a consultation.
Absolutely. I'm at least here to listen and, provide what counsel and advice I can.
No. You need to take my side and point blame at the other person.
So this is where I would potentially direct you to mediation between the two parties.
I'm not interested in that.
Oh, sorry.
That's how we roll at Renegade.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. So you have a lot on your plate lately. So you've been making lots of videos and then you're also on the podcast. So you've been playing lots of games, I assume. What games have you been playing recently that have been pretty exciting?
Oh my goodness. So many games have reached my doorstep. A lot of them have been Renegade games. Yay! So I had like a Renegade night the other night because we did, I think I see it on your shelf back there, Junk Orbit.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was a lot of fun. It was fun for many reasons, but the name alone just kept us giggling. It was cute, but we had a good laugh. It was fun. And then the actual gameplay itself was really fun. And I got to play both modes. I got to play the basic and then with the advanced, flipping the boards. And you got to know your directions. I swear, I've never questioned myself so many times as I have in this game. I'm like, that's the right direction, right? That's clockwise. No, that's not. Okay. And everyone's like, hey, Mandy, seriously, get it together. But I liked the game. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of fun. Like, we're going to talk about it on the podcast, but I want to play it a few more times before I give any opinions. But so far, so good. Light and fun.
Cool.
I played oh my gosh, the name is, I just had it in my hand today. The Dragon, it's another one of your games. The
Tea Dragon Society.
The Tea Dragon Society. Is it up there? Okay, I can see it. And I didn't realize that they had a graphic novel, like a whole series. And so I looked at the art, I can tell you right now, and I talked about it on the podcast for the Dice Tower. So if you haven't listened to it, you should go listen. How the art is fantastic. It made me go on Twitter and look for the graphic novels because I would love to get into the series. The game itself I found very simple, but it wasn't boring. Like, I still had fun, and I think the art is really what pulled me in, and I was able to teach it really quickly to some colleagues at lunchtime, and they all really liked it. So for me, that was like in the cupboard win so far. Anyway, there are more details on the podcast, but you get the idea that I really enjoyed it.
So Tea Dragon is really interesting for us because those books are actually written as children's books, right? Kind of like 8 years old and up. And that's kind of Katie's sweet spot. So we're trying to do games based on her stuff that appeal to kids that adults can play with kids as well, right? And kind of have fun, if that makes sense. But we don't want to call them children's games because children's games, at least in North America, are usually dismissed because those are horrible games like Candyland that are punishment for adults to play, right? So
yeah, it's true. That's kind of goes, well, I don't really have kids, so they're going to kind of turn off from it. But I don't think that people should think that at all. I mean, like I said, I like the art so much that I went to look for the books. I didn't care. I was just interested in seeing more of it. Yep. So I'm hoping people have that same mentality.
Cool.
Yeah, so those were like the Renegades, and then I delved in some others. I don't know if you want me to talk about them or not.
Sure.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay. So I played Council of 4. That's a CMON. I think it was one that existed before, and then CMON has now reprinted it with miniatures, of course. Yep. I enjoyed it. Suzanne talks about it a lot, and so does Dan King. And I got a chance to play it at CMON Expo, and then I got a copy and I played it here. And it was really fun. I really, really liked it. Now, miniatures are not necessary, but it makes it look pretty. So, I mean, I can't fault them for that.
That's right.
They
Miniatures
do a good
make
job.
everything nice.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I think, and then the last game I played was Role Player with the expansion.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I don't know if any of you have played it. I only played the original once, so I'm like, oh, let's try it with the expansion and play that. And I enjoyed it. It was overall, I think it was pretty good. I liked it.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't played the expansion yet. I know he has a bunch of stuff going on, though. It's pretty interesting. He's going to make a whole world out of it, which is fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, this is great. I can't wait to see more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith is cool. He's got lots of good ideas.
Ah, fantastic. I see people talking about the Blue Jay.
So what is this about the Blue Jay? I don't understand.
So I live in like the woods, as I say. So basically it's forest that surrounds me. So when I was recording the Dice Tower podcast with Suzanne, I had the window open. And so you can hear her. Suzanne's like, oh, I can hear all the birds and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's a regular thing. They're all very nice except for one. Has anybody ever heard a Blue Jay and what it sounds like?
I don't think I have actually, but they're loud. Right?
They are beautiful to look at, but I literally was like, oh, I'm having a nice sleep. And I wake up to, I'm like, what is that? It was a Blue Jay. So I had to let Suzanne know because she was saying how pretty it was. I'm like, not that one. So that's what that's all about.
Do you have, like, in Canada, can you have BB guns?
Oh, no.
What?
Horrible.
Oh! I didn't mean in relation to the Blue Jay. That was just the next question on the list.
Oh, yeah, right.
That didn't have anything to do.
Everybody.
Yeah. It's a standard question on free.
I actually don't know. I have no idea. But the Blue Jay obviously inspired me because now my hair is blue. So there you go.
Got into your dreams and influenced you.
That's what the inspiration for your hair came from?
Well, I thought it was just like a good segue into that. So I just went.
Now my feelings are hurt. I thought it was because of us. I was like, you posted something on social media and you were like, I'm thinking of a new hair color. And I immediately jumped in and said, Renegade Blue. And then like a week or two later, your hair was blue. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Like Mandy did her hair in Renegade Blue. Now I find out it's because of a stupid bird.
No, I it was just because that opportunity presented itself. So you're absolutely right. It totally had yeah, okay. We'll just go with that.
Oh, man.
Time to go look for some other questions.
Moving along. Where's that Blue Jay when you need it?
Exactly. Now I need therapy for real.
All right, so I'm going to bring this back around a little bit. So this is something I usually ask our guests. I am curious how you got into this industry because it obviously wasn't through your professional HR job.
I know, right? So, well, prior to the whole HR job, I was a teacher in the classroom with children. So I grew up in school where certain subjects were really difficult for me. It was weird because I was really gifted in some subjects and then I had issues with others. And so that made it difficult for me. And a good way for me to learn was through games. So that was really important. And then with my family, that was always something that was a constant. So I kind of got away from it for a while. I was doing makeup and I was doing a lot of theater and things like that. And I said, you know what? I want to get back to it. And then when I went to look at content, I kind of went, oh, I don't really see anybody that looks like me. And I mean that in a general sense, like just style, hair color, whatever it may be. I just didn't see anyone that I was like, okay, so I can have this world and come together. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try and do that. And it was just meant to be in fun. It really wasn't meant to be something super serious and constant. And, just threw a few videos. And of course, being new to it, it was interesting. People were very encouraging, but it was like, oh, I got a long way to go, but didn't think anything of it. And then we just started doing games we had on our shelves and just kept doing more videos. I'm trying to get better, trying to edit. And then I was on social media all the time. And then before you know it, I'm here. So
I think there's a perception that it's easier than it is because you obviously have put an immense amount of work into really polishing both your videos and your style and your brand and everything that you do that's part of this. And you just put so much work into it that it's really obvious now and all your stuff looks really clean and good. But it's kind of fun to go back and look at those original videos and see how far you've come.
Oh, no, absolutely. Like, you're right. People have said to me, oh, like, it looks so easy. I'm like, no. Like I work a full-time job. So there were nights where I wasn't going to bed till like 3 a.m, right? Because I was trying to get this video and I had a computer that wasn't really fast. So it's taking a long time. And I just, oh my goodness, the sleepless nights I had, they were unbelievable. And I was trying to kind of do the work of like 3 people. So it was really stressful. And I was like, oh my gosh, do I really want to do this? Like, I'm not getting paid to do this, this is supposed to be fun. And yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. It's paid off in many ways, but yeah, it's not easy.
So where did your inspiration come from? Like your style and your interest in like some like really cool jewelry, right? Like we were on some like a few months ago or something, and you had that really cool amber pin,
yes.
And like right, like so the whole kind of like pinup style and everything. Like where'd that come from?
So for me, it's funny, my mom always said as a kid, she's like, yeah, you were a little weird as a kid. I'm like, weird? Okay. She's like, no, I don't mean that in a bad way. She's like, do you know the show Laugh-In?
Yeah. Sarah doesn't. She doesn't know anything about pop culture, so it's fine.
No, I'm hopeless.
super old show, and Goldie Hawn was on it. So I don't know, Scott, if you remember, and she was really like, had her own style and it was different. And my mom's like, you were obsessed with her. Like, you just loved her. So from that, I always liked things that were a bit different. I mean, and I was always a little bit different, like I would go to school and all my friends, they used to call us the Spice Girls because my best friend was from Ireland. So she'd bring us all the stuff from Europe and we'd have all the cool stuff, but that wasn't cool here. Right. So that was cool for us. So I was always used to being that type of person. And then pinup for me, I loved, and this is where it gets a bit, I don't want to say weird, but I love the style of pinup, didn't like the time that it happened in, because it wasn't great for, you know, certain groups of people. And, you know, and it was always like, well, no, this group of people can't be pinup. Do you know what I mean? Or they can't do this type of style. And I'm like, wait, who dictates to me what my style is? I like to look at something like, I love that, and own it. And like, okay, maybe it wasn't for us back then, but guess what? I'm going to do it now and incorporate it in my style and be like, yeah, I can totally do that. And I'm going to rock it and make it my own and do whatever I want with it. You know what I mean? And I want people to feel like they can do that. It doesn't have to be like me, but they can say, hey, like, you inspired me to do something different than everybody else. I like that. So
that's cool. And it's a lot of work though, right? Like you worked with us at PAX Unplugged. And you know, the rest of us, like we work a convention. I get up in the morning, you know, I throw on my jeans and like my Renegade shirt and I'm like, ooh, good to go. But you know, your style and everything is not it's not that, right? It takes a lot of work. I saw your luggage. Let's put it that way.
It wasn't that bad. It's a lot. It's I have to plan. So basically when I have like my hair all nice and roller set and stuff, like that's a roller set that I have to do and then maintain for the week. And then I have outfits and like, it's a lifestyle. Like it's not just to get up and go, it's a lifestyle. Yeah,
it's a commitment.
Definitely.
It's cool. I mean, you know, the blue hair makes it perfect. That
goes with that.
It just brings it all together. It's your best look.
Part of it.
Yay!
So you talked about finding styles that were your own and that made you happy with the way that you were. And I've noticed in a lot of your stuff, you've been really positive about inclusion and making sure that people feel really welcome in this industry. Do you have any advice for people in the chat room or people listening to help in their own communities improve the inclusion and the diversity and make sure that everybody feels that welcome like they do listening to your podcasts?
It's one of those things that's hard, right? I mean, not everybody, the opportunity doesn't always present itself. Sometimes you have to make it happen. So for example, like I'll go to my game group and I'm really happy to see it's evolved over the years where it's a few more females. But when I first started going, there weren't very many of us that were going, or even people of color. Like, it was very limited. And it's to the area that I live in. It's, you know, it's pretty homogenous. So it's nice to see that happening, but I myself try and put myself out in the community. Do you know what I mean? If they're having events, I'll volunteer and be like, hey, we have this Canada game group or whatever, you know, and like, you should come play games. And it was really cool. Come by, I'll sit with you and I'll play a game. So like, I put myself out there to try and encourage people to come and do that. I mean, not everyone, I get it. Not everybody's like that, or some people are a bit more shy. And even within their game group, maybe try to do something to expand just what's in your group. Like we have Steve Larkin, who runs the Canada Gamers. He will open up his library and say, hey, I'm looking for volunteers to come to Can Games. And Can Games is a really big event for us within Ottawa. And it's, for a long time, it was the same type of gamers that went. But now that he's opened it up and asked us to come, these are kind of those outreach things that I was talking about where people are like, oh, wait, I know you. And, oh, really? You're a gamer? I get that so often. Really? You game? You don't look like you're a nerd. Really? Like a lot of that. And I'm like, why? What do nerds look like? Tell me. You know? So it's just putting yourself out there, I think, and trying to do that outreach, even just within your community and educating people and just not standing for a lot of sometimes that stuff that comes out, you know, and be like, hey, no, this is a safe place for everybody. Everybody's welcome here, but you have to not just talk the talk, you need to walk the walk. And I think that's the part that's lacking for some groups.
Yeah. So,
I mean, oh, go ahead, Sarah.
So I see this challenge in my store all the time too. Like, we want to be a safe place for people who don't have good social skills. And that can sometimes come at odds with people who want to feel included, because we have people who are either on the spectrum or maybe just haven't been around women ever before. And so we always are trying to balance getting those people kind of up to speed, but without kicking them out the door and saying, well, you said one thing that was really inappropriate, you can never come back here, because they're never going to get any better if that happens. So it's difficult to make sure that the people that we want to keep there, who are, you know, maybe not really as comfortable, like they're new, or for whatever reason, they're just not used to being in a gaming group like that, keep them feeling like it's worth it to keep coming back while still giving those other people a chance to improve their social skills. So it's just something in this community that I think is really difficult and a lot of people are challenged with.
I think too, a lot of people will just kind of let it slide. I don't think you should ever call someone out and, and make them feel embarrassed, because that's going to make them more defensive, or potentially, if they're on the spectrum or something, they may not even know, that what they did maybe was offensive to someone. So even if it's okay, like, to pull someone aside after, and, and this comes back to the kind of work that I do during the day, and use those, like, when you said this, I felt this way. Do you know what I mean? To kind of say, and I've had to do that before, where someone said something that was super inappropriate, and I didn't want to embarrass them in front of everybody, because I didn't think that was the right way to handle it. But afterward, I said to them, do you mind if I speak with you for a second? And their mind, they didn't even think that that was inappropriate. And until I said, when you said this, I felt like this. And, and at first people kind of, okay, well, get a little defensive, but then you explain how you felt about it. It's like, I'm not mad. I just want you to know how I felt about it. I was a bit hurt by this comment, or whatever it may be. And you can try and talk it out. And it's happened to me a couple of times where I've had that talk, and at the end it was fine. It was figured out. But sometimes people don't even know that they're doing it or saying it, or, you know what I mean? So I think we also have to a certain degree, kind of speak up a little bit, and not necessarily embarrass them, but maybe pull them aside and kind of say, hey, I felt this way.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's fair too, right? Like, in our industry in particular, the progress has happened very quickly in a very short period of time, right? Like this industry went from being very much a male-dominated industry up until very, very recently. I mean, right, like war games in the 60s and 70s, and then role-playing games in the 80s and 90s, and then card games in the 90s and early 2000s. You went to big conventions and big events, and it would be 99% male, right? And now it's really opened up. I mean, board games in particular, I think has helped that, because board games compared to other types of hobby games are more casual, and they're more inclusive in their play styles, where you could just get together and play something, right? So that's broadened the market quite a bit. So I think it's sometimes it's a little hard for people to keep up, and people that have been around, for 30 years are used to their environment being a certain way. Right. So, it's not everybody moves at the same pace, right? Not everybody learns at the same rate. I mean, there's stuff, I have kids, and there's stuff that, as in tuned as I think I am with pop culture, something comes up that my kids will mention where I'm like, oh, okay, like, that's something I haven't heard of yet. But, like, to an 18-year-old, that's part of their everyday life.
Right. Right.
So,
and it's everything. Like, even where I work, I look at policies and stuff, and some of the wording in the policy, it talks about he or she, and I'm like, okay, but that's not how it is today. You know what I mean? And it's changing. Like, we have washrooms now, for example. They've actually made kind of gender neutral washrooms, so anybody can use this washroom. Like, it's not designated to a specific group, and that's huge for where I work. So I think it's coming. It's just it's slow. Progress is slow.
Well, you're in Canada. Everybody's so nice.
Yeah, well, to your face anyway.
Man, truth comes out. What else is going on up there in Canada?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Other crazy stuff. Horrible. So what's your favorite thing that you have going on right now, like media wise? Like you do this for fun. So what project, or just something an initiative that you're working on that you're excited about, or something maybe that you want to do that you haven't gotten around to doing yet?
So I have so many ideas in my head, and Suzanne and I have talked about so many things, and so maybe I should start over. Oh my goodness. So I started in video, and I kind of got away from that when I came on to the Dice Tower and doing the podcast. So it doesn't mean I don't do video. I just don't do as much as I used to. And I actually really enjoyed doing it. And, Suzanne's done her video with the Dice Tower for a long time. So we're like, you know what? We enjoy doing the podcast. And get me wrong, we're still coming up with different ways that we want to interject different types of information, but we want to do something more video related together, but something that is involving a bit more talking about kind of technology or new things with gaming. But we want to do that in a different way. Haven't quite got figured out yet, but the ideas are there. Just something different, something that's not happening right now, but that's involving different things in gaming. That's maybe not so much board games, maybe the electronic part of it, apps, because I know that's Suzanne's thing. So gaming platforms, something to that effect. But I just haven't determined how I want to do that yet.
All right, that's pretty cool. So what do you think that your viewers or gamers in general what kind of content do they like? Like, what is this? Do you get requests from people that you guys should do more of this or less of that or anything along those lines?
So we get a few things. We get a lot of, oh, you guys should do more top 10s. Oh, the top 10s. I will never escape the top 10. We were just talking about this, and you both raised some like valid points of why people enjoy top 10s. And that's a big one. So that we get asked. So we try and throw a bone out every once in a while and, do like a top 10 roll and write, which we did not too long ago and things like that. And people really like that. So it's convenient and, it's easy in one area. So they understand that. People generally they do like the game overviews, but I find when you do them, it needs to be concise. Once you start stretching it out to very long, people just tune out. Yeah. And I think for me, it's more just, I'm all about video. You don't need to watch the whole thing. Get what you need from the video, and then you can move on. Because you may like something in part 1, somebody else may need something in part 3 or whatever. When I was sitting with Carol, my friend Carol from To Die For Games doing videos, people liked our banter. So we would do a very brief overview, but if anything, they enjoyed us just chatting, and it was like they were in the conversation with us. People liked feeling like they're part of the conversation. So anything that has a personal touch, I find people really like that. So like the vlogs that we were doing for CMON Expo, I'm like, oh, these are super silly. But people really like them. People like to see us in the whole gaming part of it, but also us as a person, like what we do kind of maybe outside of the con while we're there chatting with friends. And people like to see that part of us as well. So believe it or not, yeah.
Have you guys done an AMA yet or anything?
I'm trying to think what we've done so far. I think we have. We've done a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a few that are posted. I think we're overdue.
Oh, okay.
Things have been a little busy, so.
Our chat room is wondering if you would do a top 10 episodes of the Dice Tower featuring Mandy.
Well, I've been asked about board game breakfast. We're like, how come you don't do your lunchtime anymore? So like, hey, don't like be all that. No, I'm kidding. I still have to get through my top 100 people.
Oh, geez. Is that like contractually you're committed to doing a top 100 once you're part of the Dice Tower?
No. Like Tom legitimately put it in the Kickstarter.
Oh.
He put it in the Kickstarter. If we reached, I think it was like something crazy. Like, honestly, I saw it. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's way up there. We're not going to reach that. Oh, no. Right. We reached it and then some. Yeah. So people just really either A, really wanted to see my top 100 or B, wanted to see me suffer. One of the two.
Jeff from the chat would like to let you know that you have actually officially done 3 question and answers.
Oh, look at that. Wow. That's sad that I didn't know that. Thanks, Jeff. So
he's on top of it.
Jeff is the person who edits our podcast.
Oh, he was asking if you needed an editor for your next thing. So that makes sense now.
Exactly. So there you go. We may have more work for you, Jeff.
Nice.
Oh, that's goodness. Awesome.
Crazy. So where are you going to be next? Yeah, you were just at CMON Expo recently, right?
Yes, and now it's Origins coming up, but I'm sure you both will be there as well. So it's I don't even know the schedule, but it's probably going to be at the booth with the Dice Tower and interviews with all the publishers and so forth at the booth, and that'll probably run for the majority of the day. And then I know that I'm doing a game with someone who on the Kickstarter. It was an option to, if you backed a certain level, you can play a game with myself or with Suzanne or with Tom or with Ever. So I'll be playing a game with a lucky guest. I'm excited for that. Yeah, that's about it.
That's pretty cool. I'm not surprised that they chose you over Tom. So.
Oh, no, Tom's there too. Tom's there too.
Yeah? Oh.
I just hope they make him play some really long, heavy Euro.
That must have been like a low tier.
Sure, we're gonna go.
Oh no!
I don't know. The guy's in the UK. He's not here to defend himself.
Exactly.
Great. UK Games Expo is going on right now. So we have Origins, and then there's Dice Tower Con. I assume you'll be there as well.
Yeah, it's Origins, Dice Tower Con. Oh my gosh, Gen Con? Gen Con after that. Okay. Wait, hold on. That's August, September. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's in Halifax. So anybody going to Halifax, there's a gaming event in Halifax, and then I think. Wait, September, October. What's in October?
Essen.
Shucks. You're going to Shucks.
Shucks. Then Essen.
Oh, I'm going to Shucks too, so I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
What?
Oh, Tom. Poor Tom. So So Essen, I think, and then I don't know what's after that. I think it's the cruise. There's a cruise, and then following year Gamma, and then it's going into 2019.
There's a Dice Tower cruises next year, right?
Yeah. So yeah, after Essen, I don't think I have anything until the
PAX
cruise.
Unplugged?
Sorry, PAX. Sorry, I thought I said it. Yeah. So PAX Unplugged, and then cruise Gamma, I think.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Our chat room is wondering if it was HalCon. Is that the one in Halifax?
No, HalCon. They invited me to come to HalCon, which is in Halifax, but it's the exact same time as Essen. They moved the dates from last year, but no, it's another little event that's happening. The name is escaping me right now. If I remember, I'll let you know. But I think it's around September 20th or so. So I'll be staying on the base with a friend, and then I'll pop over just to.
Is it FaxCon?
Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts. Okay, while we're chatting, I'm gonna take a little peek and no, it's driving me crazy.
Well, while you're looking this up, we have a very important question from the chat room. The question is, if you could only choose one type of pie, would you choose apple, cherry, French silk, or key lime? Those are your options.
French silk? Who threw that in there?
Wait,
those are from Jeff.
What? Of course it is.
What is French silk pie?
You don't know what French silk pie is? It's sort of like chocolate pudding.
Yeah, it's probably, I'm so sorry, Jeff, it's probably my least favorite on that list. So gross. Sorry.
Apple, cherry, French silk, or key lime. That's tricky. What would you pick, Scott?
Oh, I've never had a pie I didn't like, so.
Wow. Which one? I'm curious to see now which one you're going to pick.
It'd be a toss-up between cherry and key lime.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm so boring.
Really? I'm not a big apple fan. I mean, I like apple pie, but it's kind of like the cheeseburgers of pie, right? Like,
it's the best.
It's a staple. I'll give you that.
Now, have you tried it with the sharp cheddar?
Oh, no,
we didn't try that. Yeah,
I've had that before.
Come on, that is good.
Yep. Yeah,
see,
it is.
Thank you.
Okay, but it didn't say that wasn't an option. It just said apple pie. It didn't say apple.
Outside the box.
Okay, all right, you win.
Apple pie with something, either ice cream or cheddar, apparently.
Yeah, it's like a la mode or something. I agree.
Yeah,
it doesn't need ice cream though. Like
really, I don't know about that.
Better with ice cream.
I like the cold and the hot at the same time.
Me too. It's pretty tasty. Yeah, no, apple all the way. Key lime is.
I need Suzanne to break the tie.
I don't think she'd pick apple, actually. Now that I think about it, no, I don't think she'd pick apple. I think she'd probably choose. Apple would be in there, but I would say I know she likes pumpkin, like me. I also enjoy pumpkin as well. I think it's her mom's pumpkin she loves, but I feel like she would be closer to cherry. I don't know. Key lime for me is like. So.
I guess we could still be friends.
Sorry.
Fine. So, as revenge, somebody asked, has Mandy sung yet?
Oh, come on. Wait a second. That must be his name on Twitter is Needs of the One. I don't know what it's Delton, potentially. Yes. So, for anybody.
What's that all about?
Well, anytime I play games, anybody who plays games with me, it doesn't matter. If you say like, we're playing and then you say something and it makes me think of a song, I will legitimately have the table sing, like we'll each have singing a line from the song, So I think we were doing a live stream on the Dice Tower. I don't remember what the theme was, but I ended up singing a few rock songs on there. Badly, might I add.
Ooh, that sounds like a new show. Like you should do like board game karaoke.
No one wants to.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
That's actually a really good idea. Ideas. Where's my pen?
Wow. Maybe you need a sponsor for that show. I don't know.
I wonder how many people would win. Watch. I'm so curious to see.
I think that needs to be a live show at an event.
Oh, that would be good.
That would be so good.
Oh, like it shucks.
I see a pen in Scott's hand. He's like,
I always have a pen. I can't remember all my ideas. I gotta write them down.
Or stab people. Those are the two things you do with pens, right?
Whichever moves you at the moment.
See, Jeff likes it. He endorsed it too.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Hold on, my dog, I locked him out. He got in, and now he's squeaking toys. And look what it is. A blue toothpaste bottle.
Nice.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. For a second, I thought you were being invaded by mice.
Yeah, they're just randomly all over my room. So I was like, oh, there's one. We get them the bark box.
Oh, those are cool. Yeah.
So new toy every month.
Cool.
That's a good idea. Dogs like new toys.
Really?
So, which convention do you think you're looking forward to the most? Based on last year's experience,
mm-hmm.
What are you most excited about?
So, okay, you gotta look at this from two ways. If we're looking at from work or relaxing, because there are differences. So oh boy, that's tough. I would have to say I'm really looking forward to, believe it or not, Dice Tower Con. It's one of my favorites. It's relaxing. I don't feel I don't feel like I'm stressed. Like when I go to Gen Con, I feel like I'm stressed all the time.
I'm texting Tom right now. She's towing the company line. It's good. She's doing good, Tom.
I've also never been to Disney, and I need to make that happen this year.
Oh, you'll have so much fun.
Yeah, so I've never, I shouldn't say that. I went to Disney, but it was for a dinner that we were having with Kickstarter backers for Dice Tower. And so I never got to actually go in Disney, do the rides and everything. So that's why I'm looking forward to that. And then I thought PAX was fun. I actually really enjoyed PAX because it was a different type of audience. It wasn't our typical that goes to some of the bigger cons. And the chats, just sitting with them, talking with them, hey, check this game out, and it was more of a relaxed environment. I enjoyed that. So those are probably the two I'm looking forward to. And then, of course, Essen, where I can spend hundreds of dollars to get games back here. Oh, my goodness. I did that so wrong last year.
How many games did you ship back for yourself personally?
I didn't ship anything back. I took it all back in luggage.
You had it all in the luggage?
Oh, no. Suzanne and I came down with, we did the trick we talked to you about. So the luggage and the luggage.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where Suzanne had to cut boxes.
Yeah.
And of course, she did that in front of people, and they were freaking out because they're I can't believe you're cutting boxes. And I managed to fit all the games I bought into all of my luggage and my knapsack. And then I think it ended up being overweight. And then the poor people at the airport took pity on me and didn't make me pay. But then, of course, when I get to Canada, they're like, oh, yeah, that's $100. I'm like, what?
Jeez. Still cheaper than shipping it.
Yeah.
I didn't have the option, right? Everybody's American, so they were all sending it back to the States versus me being Canadian. It would have been so expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just took it all back.
That's not so bad though. If you could get it all in your luggage and ship it back and not have to throw away any of your clothes, then you're doing well.
See, so I can't pack well. I packed well enough that it fit all into that tiny luggage. I
had one Essen where I threw away all my socks and underwear and just left them in the hotel in the trash bin. There was no way I was gonna get it back. I was throwing away boxes. I had stuff broken down. I had stuff nested inside of other stuff.
Yes.
There was nothing left. That bag was so densely packed, it was ridiculous.
Did you not? What is happening? Oh my goodness. Okay.
No, John, it's not too much information. It's useful. Let that be a lesson for the rest of you.
It's useful.
These are pro tips.
Yeah. Learn from my mistake.
That's too funny. I'm just picturing the person though who comes into the room and then decides to go, why are there socks and underwear in the garbage? What was going on in this room?
Mm-hmm. When you leave a big tip and you're like, sorry.
Oops.
I'm sure that they've encountered rooms left in lot worse condition than that.
Every time I leave a room.
Yes.
Yeah, right there. I don't believe it. It's probably super clean and polished and everything. No? Oh, wow. You're dashing my dreams right now.
No. So we just had somebody new start with the company this past week. And Sarah and Danny were sharing a room at ACD Games Day at the open house for one of our distributors.
Right.
And I had to warn Danny. I was like, so you're going to be a roommate with Sarah. Sarah basically comes into her room, takes her suitcase, and just runs around the room. Just like, letting the contents go everywhere. And then she puts the do not disturb tag on her door, so nobody will come in and see the mess.
Yep.
That's so good. I don't know if I believe this. I've stayed with Sarah before. What was funny to me is when I'd get up to go to the bathroom and all I see is a little light and I hear tap, 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 tap. I'm like, is she seriously still on the computer at this time of night? What is going on?
Oh, like under the covers, like a little kid reading his comic book?
Except I was working.
And I'm like, and then here's the kicker. She's up earlier than me and out the door. How does that happen?
Yeah, he doesn't sleep. That was the other thing. I had to warn her roommate. I'm like, so I saw them the next day and I was like, so did you get any sleep? And they were like, yeah. And Sarah didn't wake you up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'm usually up pretty early.
You are. I don't know how you do it. Like you do like you do a lot of things with like, with your hair and stuff. And I'm like, wow, you're quick. I wish. No, it's impressive.
So John in chat called you a Cylon, Sarah.
You're a Cylon.
Reader.
Wait, I see in the chat you did a great teach of Pie. Aw, great teach of Pie Town. Thanks, Audie.
Yeah, we were talking about when we were at PAX Unplugged.
Yes.
We must have been there. There actually was another really good question. As a teacher, did you use board games in the classroom?
I did. I think one that I carried on, and don't laugh, when I came to Ottawa, I'm from Alberta. So in Alberta, you didn't learn French, for example. So I know what it's like to struggle learning French. And I remember a teacher gave me the game Milborn. And that's how I learned French, because I would have to give all the directions to her when I played the cards in French. So I tried to implement that in the classroom. And then I try and get games where I'm not particularly great. Like math was never a strong subject for me. I really had to study. So any games that can kind of illustrate some kind of mathematical skill, I try to incorporate that as well. And it can be very simple skills, simple games. It didn't have to be super complex, but just something that they could understand, like wrap their head around maybe a mathematical concept. And it would just make it more fun, because math is not fun for everyone. So, it makes it more exciting.
It's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went on vacation with my 8-year-old niece, and she really likes math, but she doesn't like doing math in front of other people. And so when they do like classroom activities that have to do with math, it made her really uncomfortable. So we played Quicks, which is a roll and write where you're adding things together. So we played that a whole bunch while we were traveling. And I think it was good to have that skill of having to do math in front of other people, which is something she was struggling with.
Yeah. Absolutely. You got to make it fun, because when it's not fun, then you're just like, it really shows like, wow, I'm really terrible at this. Wow, this is really boring. Wow, this is like, you just start focusing on all the negative. At least if it's fun and you're screwing up, who cares? You're having fun while you're doing it. You're learning, right? So,
yeah. So Mandy, your friend Delton has to leave. So you should, before they go, you should, sing a tune.
I don't even know. Like, what was I singing last time? I think it was Chicago. Yeah, that's not.
That'll work.
That's not appropriate. This is like kid friendly. So I'm sorry. I'm coming up short. It needs to be in the moment. I need to have like a line, and then a song will hit me.
All right. We'll wait for you to be inspired. Maybe not this. No, maybe not this stream. Maybe in the future.
In the future, I'll be more prepared, and I'll have my library ready to go.
All right.
That's totally fair. Well, unless anybody else had great questions.
Oh, sing "Oh Canada."
Oh, that was a good one.
Someone's singing Chicago. John Paul, I love your life. Do you see it?
Yep.
Do you guys know the song?
No, I don't.
It's the tango. Jailhouse, the jail block tango, and it has all these women telling their story of the crime they committed. So the line he has is, he had it coming, he only had himself to blame. You should have been there, and you'd have seen it. Et cetera, et cetera. Yes, I love musicals.
There you
That's
go.
it. Cell block
That's
tank.
awesome.
Thank you, John.
Inspiration struck.
Darn you, John.
Or
that's
Dalton
wonderful.
says Under Pressure by Queen. That one I know.
Oh, that's a great one. And David Bowie. I love David Bowie.
Nice. Finally got what we started.
Now you're just getting all sorts of requests.
I know, right? That's it. I'll make a really like a mixtape, and then when you guys, when you're playing a game, you can just or on a CD. There you go. There's Mandy. She's joining us. There's the song.
Well, you need to make it as a karaoke list, so then anybody can go board game karaoke.
That is a good point. That's a good idea. See, so now I have all this inspiration to help me.
Nice. You needed to know what the next thing was going to be. There you go.
Exactly.
I love it.
So cool.
Well, we are getting kind of close to the end, so I did want to do a few things. We usually on this podcast give away a game, and we do that by showing a component from one of our existing games, and the first person to guess gets a copy of that game.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
But we can't play because we see it early.
Okay.
I know.
So this is a relatively easy one, but we'll see who gets it this time. And John Paul has won a lot of these, so everyone
wow.
get your fingers close to the keyboard, and we'll see. It should be fun though. All right, ready? Here we go, putting it up there, and we'll see who gets it first.
Oh, I know.
I thought
I still haven't played this one.
Really? What?
Nope, I've never played it. So next time I see you, you'll have to show it to me, Sarah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You have renegade blue hair and you haven't played that game.
I know. Oh, Altiplano. I love that game so much.
Oh, and we have a winner. Audi guessed Kitty Paw, which is correct.
Yay.
So send us an email at customerservice@renegadegames.com and we will get you a copy of your game.
Amazing.
Very exciting.
Congrats.
Yes, that's always fun. And then we had a few Renegade updates.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I did, actually, we were talking about events. I forgot to ask you, Scott. So you went to the Toronto Festival for Comic Arts, TCAF?
Yes, TCAF, Toronto Comic Art Festival.
Comic Art Festival. There you go. So how was that?
It was amazing. So it takes place at the library downtown, which was a location that was inspired a scene in Scott Pilgrim. So if you've read the graphic novels. So it's this big, 4 or 5 level library. It's really cool. And it's all indie comic creators and artists, no mainstream stuff. And they get 20,000 people over the weekend that go through there.
Wow,
it was jam-packed. Why weren't you there?
Me?
Yeah.
I wasn't invited. I didn't even know this was going on.
It's free. They don't even charge admission.
I swear, I kid you not. I get invited to more things outside of Canada than I do within Canada. And I always find out too late. But you have your pulse on all these things. This is great.
So the reason why I was there is because Katie O'Neill, the creator of T-Dragon Society and Princess Ever After, she's from New Zealand. So she was going to be in the country to do TCAF in Toronto and then a sister event that happens in Vancouver the next week. So I went there to be able to go meet her. And we also brought in early copies of T-Dragon Society. Nice. And Steve Ellis, the designer, one of the co-designers of the game, was there demoing and stuff like that. So it was really cool. So it was an opportunity to see Katie and meet her in person and talk about future stuff because I don't get to New Zealand very often.
You really should, though. It is one of my favorite places I've ever been to.
Oh, you've been. Nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
Speaking of T-Dragon Society, so she has a couple other things coming up, right?
Yes, she has another graphic novel that I don't think they've been announced yet, though.
Okay. You should talk about something else for a moment because I think that we can talk about it.
Wait, and this is the graphic novel. Okay, and then once you find that out, you can tell me where I can get my hands on these graphic novels.
So this is her second graphic novel. So her first one was Princess Ever After.
Right.
That came out in the fall of 2016, and that one's really cool. We're working on something for that, hopefully that will come together in the future.
Cool.
But that, kind of turns the whole fairy tale trope on its head, and the princess in the tower is actually rescued by another princess, and they go off and have an adventure and save the prince, and and do that.
I love Princess Ever After. It is so wonderful.
Sounds great.
So that was the first thing. So Scholastic, I don't know if you guys have Scholastic in Canada.
We do.
But okay, so Scholastic, right, in the US and all the schools, they pick books and they become part of the book program, and they'll have book fairs in all the schools and everything else. So Scholastic picked up Princess Ever After almost immediately.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And yeah, it's really cool. So I saw it and read it, and we immediately wanted to kind of be part of that. So then the first game, though, with her is based on T-Dragon Society. And then, I don't know, did you check with somebody, Sarah? Are we allowed to talk about future stuff?
I did. You can mention her next upcoming book.
Ooh.
Okay. So her next book is next fall, comes out in October. And, I forget the whole title. Basically, it's about, do you remember the whole title? I can't remember the whole title.
It's called Aquacorn Cove.
Aquacorn Cove, that's it. So takes place, it's like in more of an aquatic story. It's about the reef and conservation, and aquacorns, of course, are in the story because you need but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. So hopefully very soon we're going to see some advanced pages and stuff like that, and work on that, and then her stuff in the future too. But yeah, she's super cool. And I think we're having her on the show next week, right?
We are, yeah. So Katie and the designers of the game, Steve Ellis and Tyler Tinsley, are going to be joining us next week.
So are the designers Canadian?
They're not. They're from Portland.
Almost.
Someone told me they were from Canada. So, I thought that. I got all excited. Okay, never mind.
Portland's, it's close to the border. It's getting there.
Oh, well, if anyone listens to the next podcast, oops, I thought they were Canadian.
They're really nice, so almost.
People from Portland are almost like Canadians because they're so friendly.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, close enough. That works.
At least to your face.
Exactly.
From what I've heard.
I don't know who could have told you that.
Oh my goodness. And speaking of T-Dragon Society, we also announced today that we have a release date for it. So that is actually officially coming out June 27th. It is finally in North America. Our boat finally made it here, so we can have that release date and be pretty confident about it.
Oh, I'll probably have a copy in my bag at Origin. So if anybody wants to find me or come to the booth, then can show you at the booth, even if I'm at Dice Tower booth, and show you to play. Yeah.
And also, if anybody wants to pick it up at Origins, you can pre-order it, and then you don't have to worry about us running out because we won't have a ton of copies there. Or you can also pre-order the convention exclusive cover, which is a white cover. It looks more like the book cover. It's really, really pretty. And that is only going to be available through conventions this upcoming year.
Oh, wow.
Did we send one of those to Mandy? Probably not.
No, but we should talk after this. We can make that happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. The Toronto Comic Art Festival that you went to. The other thing we recently did since our last podcast was we went to the ACB Games Day, and we got to share Junk Orbit with over 250 retailers. So that was fun. If you have a local friendly game store, you should definitely see if they went to ACB Games Day. They can tell you about that event.
What's this? Yeah. Okay. A Dice Tower Con? I don't know. Sorry, I just quickly glanced at the chat. I don't know if they're talking about the last game you were talking about. T-Dragon game?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Oh, will it be at Dice Tower Con? So unfortunately, we are not going to be at Dice Tower Con, but I'm going to make sure they have a copy of it there. So
I'll be there.
There you go. You can play with people.
So Jeremy, come find me because I'll be floating around, and I'll probably have a copy with me. So just come find me.
There you go. That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, and it should be in their library too. So yeah, Junk Orbit is also coming out on June 27th. Is a brick and mortar only release. So if you have a friendly local game store, then go look for Junk Orbit and T-Dragon Society there on June 27th. And then just a few little updates. Prowler's Passage is actually coming out a week from today. So that will also be at game stores and online next week. And Dan Keene just posted a fantastic video about it. It's on BGG right now. And I am actually going to post a link to that in chat in just a few minutes. So if you want to go to BGG and look for Prowler's Passage, go give Dan a thumbs up for a great job on that video. He is awesome. He actually was our very first guest on this show.
Amazing. I love Dan. Dan and I are actually really good friends. So we talk often, and he was actually, and I should have mentioned this, he was one of the big proponents for me going further in this industry. He was a very, very good friend to me. So
that's awesome.
Amazing person. And Prowler's Passage, Suzanne talked about it on the podcast.
Oh, that was this week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice. All sorts of fun things.
It's Zan Man Dan. So we're so cheesy. That's our name. Zan Man Dan.
I did not realize that you had a name together.
Oh. You guys have shirts?
We're thinking about it. We're working on it.
All right.
John Paul is asking if Clank & Space Apocalypse is going to have promo cards if you pre-order it. Yes, is the answer. That will happen. What's up?
That's premiering at Gen Con, right?
Yeah, it will be.
Have we announced the other thing?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
We have more secrets.
Apparently, I need to know.
Nobody knows. This one is so super secret. I don't even know much about it. But it will also hopefully...
What do you mean? You know everything there is to know about it.
I guess. I've seen one piece of art, no rule book, no logo, no front cover.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, but I've created events for it. So I hope it happens. It'll be exciting.
All good.
That's the way it works. Yeah, so go to Gen Con. That's the moral of the story. Also, in other game news updates, Spy Club landed in North America as of, I believe, yesterday, and that is working its way, working its way towards our warehouse. That is a game that we partnered up with Foxtrot Games on, and Randy was actually with us last week. So, or I guess not last week, last episode. So definitely go and check that one out. It is going to have a July 11th release date. So that is coming right up. And Circus Puppy is also now on a boat and will be here in about a month. But we have early preview copies of it coming in for Origins. So if you want to be one of the very first people to have it in North America, come to Origins and say hi. Or pre-order it from our site. Another good way to do it.
Oh, somebody's asking any peeks for the new artwork for Arboretum.
Ooh, yeah.
I will, yes. Friday. Sarah, earmuffs. So.
I don't let Scott do any of the fun things he wants to do.
Yes, Friday will spoil some tree art. How's that?
Oh, that's exciting.
On Twitter.
It's looking really good. And we're going to have that one. I believe we're actually going to make Gen Con because they turned in all the files today.
Oh, okay. So the gameplay is staying the same, right? It's just the art that's changing?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have the original one, so I was curious to see the difference.
Yeah, no, you'll need a new one.
Someone tried to pilfer the other one, and I was like, I'll never see it again. And then I found out that you were doing it. Oh,
they were hard to find. I had to buy one from France.
Yeah, you don't even have an English copy of it.
Yeah, I never could find an English copy anywhere. I had to buy one from France. Yeah, paid like $20 to just ship it.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have an original one, like the very first printing, I believe, signed by Dan Kassar. It's a very important part of my gaming collection.
Sitting right here as reference.
Yeah, that's the one I have, just like that.
Yeah, the Philosophia one. I know.
Cool.
Yep.
Nice. A few other small updates. We are currently doing a BGG contest. So if you want to go and potentially win one of the games that we have pre-releasing at conventions this summer, we have a bunch of really good games in there. I believe we're giving away, let's see, there's all sorts of crazy stuff. Prowler's Passage, Junk Orbit, Wendake, Gunky Mono, Circus Puppy, and Rocks of Ruin. So I'm just going to post a link here really quick. If you want to go sign up for our giveaway there, you can do that. And then we also are doing a separate Spy Club giveaway on our own page. And there's a link to that one too.
When does Wendake come out? I'm really looking forward to that.
So I just got my reviewer copies in the warehouse yesterday. So I will be sending you a copy. And that one is going to be an early release at Gen Con as well.
Okay. I'm excited for that one. Like, really excited.
Did you play it at Essen?
No, I didn't. Suzanne and I were so run off our feet. We didn't get to play very many games at all. Yeah. So yeah, this year we'll plan that a bit differently. But no, that was one that was on my list. And I really wanted to see how the art and the gameplay was used. I'm just curious to see how it plays out. Yep. So yeah, looks good.
Cool.
It's really different. I love the action selection mechanic in that game. It's just really cool. It's a little tricky to explain. It's a big, heavy game, but it's really neat.
Said the magic words, big, heavy. Oh, right up my alley.
Yep, exactly. Nice. All right. And then the only other thing I had on my list was making sure you all join us actually next week. So we skipped a couple weeks for all of that travel we were doing. Now we're going to go next week and meet up with Katie and Steve and Tyler and talk about the Tea Dragon Society card game. And we'll be doing that same time, same place next Wednesday. And I think that's it. Scott, did you have anything else you wanted to share with people?
No, just that I cannot express enough how pleased and happy I am that Mandy decided to do Renegade Blue and fully embrace the Renegade spirit and come to the light side.
Someone asked me if this was Dice Tower Blue, and I just didn't know how to answer. Like I didn't want to put my job in jeopardy.
That. Oh, I know what the answer is. The answer is no.
I think you should start a hair color line now. See, so I would model for that. I would be down with that. Just different shades of blue.
It's funny that you should mention that. We have something with overlight that might be in that.
What? Is it makeup? Oh my gosh! Hello, makeup artist. I'm right there.
We'll make sure you're involved. How about that?
Oh, I like where this is going.
We'll talk.
Okay.
It's pretty fantastic. No one will ever guess what this is. It's so bizarre. Right?
Oh, John, Maple Leafs blue. How dare you? Oh, terrible team.
Somebody said it's Azul. Technically correct.
Yes.
Yeah. It's almost the same color as my frogs, actually.
Really? Well, it's like a so I did it myself. I usually get my mom or my friend to do it, but I was like, you know what? I had bags on bags on bags of blue. Turquoise, lagoon, you name it. And so I just kind of went, okay, let's mix a little bit of this, and then see what happens.
That's fun.
Do you see what I started?
I know. It's more like indigo. Oh, goodness.
Oh, chat, you are awesome. Yeah. We love you all.
Oh, okay. Now they're just John Paul is getting nasty now.
Oh, that's a low
some hockey talk.
Oh, yeah, especially with Las Vegas going crazy.
Yeah, I have to say, Canada, we tried. Like, we had one Canadian team. Yeah, that didn't last.
So my team, the Avalanche, used to be a Canadian team.
Come on, most of the players are Canadian, so technically it's a win.
That's true. If you want to, yeah, that's the Band-Aid, but sure.
Oh, too funny.
No. Well, I think that is it for this evening. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This was a blast. Mandy, it was so wonderful having you. Thank you for spending some time and answering all our wonderful questions.
No, thanks so much for having me and listen to me chat your ears off about just random stuff and games.
So after this, where can people find you?
Oh my goodness, I'm all over. If you don't follow me already, I'm on Twitter as the Board Gamer Pinup. I'm on Instagram as the Board Gaming Pinup Girl because people stole my name, so I had to change it up. I'm on Facebook with To Die For Games, and well, you can also find me over with the Dice Tower. And if you want to send me an email or just a quick question for the podcast, Mandy at Dice Tower. Oh, Mandy with an I at dicetower.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mandy. And thank you, everybody in the chat room. We will see you all in a week. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.